Hello and welcome to the third episode of the Flint tutorial. Today we will learn how to do complex commands and practice that by making a command that can turn a normal string, like hello world, into a small caps version using the following characters. We'll also be able to turn into other fonts, like this one, and also into subscript and superscript numbers. So for that, let's create a new feature and let's call it fontify command. This will implement command feature. That means we have to hover over this and implement some methods. First we have to specify a command name. For that, let's choose fontify. Now this is a little long, so let's also specify an alias. This we do by overriding the aliases method. What I just did quickly there is when you do add and go down with the arrow key and then press enter, you get a menu of everything you can override. So I just selected this one and clicked OK or pressed enter, and then it automatically adds that here. This one we don't want to override, of course, we want to override aliases, so we do that. And then we need to return a set of things. In this case we want to return a set of only one thing, which will be font, as an alias for fontify. Now that we've done that, let's paste some code that will obviously be in the description below, because it would just be tedious to write out. When you go here on the map, you can press Ctrl space and then enter to import the thing. Same here. So now we have the mappings for small caps, bubble, characters, subscript and superscript, which are created in the static block here. Let's read through that real quick. We make an array of characters for small caps, for bubble chars, for subscript chars, for superscript chars and for normal characters. Then we iterate through the normal characters and add all of the character mappings, always the normal character to the special character. And that means that we can access here, we can do small caps mapping.get with a normal character and it returns a small caps character, for example. Now, let's go into here and let's not zoom out too far. Let's close this to have a bit more space, because this is very long. Let's just rename this to builder, because it doesn't have to be that long. And now, let's do builder.then. Now in here, we can do a lot of stuff. In this case, we want to add a sub command, for which we will do literal. Then we'll go and import static methods, the client command manager.literal. Then we can put something. Let's for now just make the small caps. So literal small caps, and then we do .then again because we want a argument. So for that we do argument in brackets, and then we once again import a static method, the client command manager.argument. This argument will be called text, and it will be a string argument type .string. And then at the end of these brackets that correspond to the argument, we have to do .executes. And now we won't make a function for this. Like we won't make a function for small caps, a function for bubble caps, a function for subscript caps and a function for superscript caps, but instead we'll just make one function. Let's write this function right now. It's going to be a private void fontify with two arguments. There's going to be the command context. It's not going to throw anything. It's going to be the command context. And then we want to also have the map of character to character. So now we can call this here, we can do context, arrow, and then here we can just do fontify of context and small caps mapping. Now this currently returns nothing. Let's change that to return an integer, because that's what the command wants, and let's just return 0 at the end. Okay, now let's do a simple loop. Well, first of all let's get the string, the input. For that we do string argument type dot get string with the context and the name of the argument which we specified right here. Then let's repeat for every for every map.entry character in the map, and then we can do text.replace all entry key entry value. That means we will replace every A with this. We will replace every B with the small caps B, and so on. And if there's something that isn't supported, we just have the default value, so 0 would be replaced with 0, so nothing would happen. Now we need to do text equal that to actually apply it. And then for now, let's just send it into the console. Now, the last thing we need to do before we can test this is we need to take the fontify command and we need to register it as a feature. So let's do that, and let's run Minecraft. Alright, we're now in Minecraft, so let's see what this does. Let's do /fontify small caps balls. Now in the console it prints the small caps version. That's exactly what we want. But now what if we did fontify small caps big balls? See, this, it doesn't work anymore because it thinks there's only one string argument, not multiple. To fix that, let's change the type of argument. Let's make this, instead of a string argument, we make it a greedy string argument. We'll have to restart for this to apply, but that will mean that it will take everything after the string, including itself, so it will take, my bad, it will take everything you write after it. That's exactly what we want. So let's, before we restart, let's add the other options. So after this dot then, you do dot then again, then you do bubble dot then. So we basically duplicate most of this, just that instead of a small caps mapping, it's now a bubble mapping. And then we do dot then again. We do literal subscript dot then, and then we do executes with the subscript mapping. The autocomplete is very helpful in this case, but you can also obviously just type it out. Alright, that should be all. Let's now also, just for convenience sake, send the message in chat instead. Alright, let's start Minecraft. Alright, Minecraft has started, so let's check if it works. Font, bubble, hello world, 1, 2, 3. And look at that, it works. Let's try subscript a number, it works. Let's try subscript string and a number. The string stays the same because there's not a subscript equivalent of it. This works, but it's kind of annoying, right? Like if you do this, you can't just grab it, you have to go into your console and grab it. And that's just kind of annoying. So let's fix that. Instead of sending a message, we'll do a command sender feature, which is of Flint, and we just send a command, which will be text plus text. This way, when we refactor our code, when we hot swap our code, I mean, when we run this again, we just get the string. So now we can do /font small caps overly polished game, and it will turn into a small caps version of the string. This should be it for this video. If you had fun, if you enjoyed learning, come back for the 4th episode, we'll do something fun there too. And I hope to see you again in the next video. Bye!